Let's talk supply chain. So, welcome to the show, Pete.
Sarah, what an honor to be here. Thanks for having me. I am Pete Gowanlock with DLT Labs, VP of our Freight Solutions.
Awesome. And I'm so excited to have you here. I mean, we met back in January, and I feel like it was years ago. I don't know about you, but this year is just, I don't know. It seems to be completely flying by. Blockchain, is not something I've talked about a lot. And I have so many questions because it has applications in banking and healthcare. But one of the huge areas it has the potential to help revolutionize is supply chain. There's been some people who have tried it, right? And I think it's a really exciting prospect. So I'm looking forward to hearing how DLT Labs are helping to make that happen. So let's start by talking about blockchain, because as I said, I have quite a few questions. For those who aren't sure, what is blockchain?
Sure thing, Sarah. I will try not to be too technical, but it is a
Yes.
technology. So here we go. In
Yep.
simplest terms, Sarah, blockchain is a digital ledger where information is stored in blocks. Those blocks, every time there's a change to the data, it
Mhm.
adds a new block, and they're connected in a chain. So hence the word blockchain.
Hmm.
Um, Data is decentralized on the network, so there is no centralized data store. That adds for it allows it to be replicated, right? So enhanced security features through that. It's harder to hack and uh, distributed ledger technology. I want to touch on it too. It's a broader term for
Okay.
various forms of
Mhm.
decentralized ledgers, of which blockchain is one of those forms.
Hmm.
I
Well,
think
yeah.
the value that blockchain brings here is well, one of its core values is I mentioned it earlier. Once information is added to the chain, it cannot be changed or tampered with.
Mm.
So that adds security to the platform. It
Yeah.
has enhanced transparency,
Yeah.
traceability, and the reliability when it's a decentralized network. You know, if one node goes down, you still have access to the data and it keeps running. Um, I think I should mention too, Sarah, the difference between public versus private blockchains. So public blockchains commonly used in cryptocurrency,
Hmm.
of which obviously the most talked about and well known is Bitcoin.
Yep.
Enterprise solutions are more typically on a private blockchain, which is
Mm.
only authorized users to that network are using that solution, and they provide the authority for what information gets added, whereas public, it's market driven, decided what information is added to the blockchain. Does that
That's
help you out?
yeah. That's a really great explanation, and I appreciate that. Now, we were talking about blockchain a few years ago quite a bit, right? But I think the conversations have kind of dropped off. I think you've also got some people in the industry who are like, does blockchain help supply chain? Are we really going to be able to get everybody to bring information together in one spot and do some information sharing and things like that? I think that issues around economy, ongoing topics like visibility have also dominated the conversation more than blockchain. So what are your thoughts on that? Why do you think that that is that, we haven't really been hearing too much about it recently and that people are a little bit on the fence?
Sure. I don't disagree. Uh, the economy has taken certainly a front seat, as it always will, you know, with its impact on supply
Right.
chain. Visibility, you're absolutely right. It's been an ongoing topic for many years. And that's one of the keys that blockchain helps support, though. Blockchain is healthy, Sarah.
Okay.
So organizations have done proof of concepts, you know, 3, 4 years ago, starting off with proof of concepts. They've learned from them.
Okay.
And now it's a matter of, okay, we're taking our learnings, implementing those, to add valuable solutions
Okay.
using blockchain for the supply chain. We'll see more and more of it going forward, but yeah, and it's a combination of technologies, right? You're not
Mhm.
going to deliver everything all on one, technology. You've
Mhm.
got to combine technologies to realize benefits from multiple things to really add value, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So what does that landscape look like between blockchain and supply chain at the moment?
Um, well, as I said, it's healthy for sure. We're going to see blockchain enhance the use of the data. There are
Okay.
many systems, visibility in particular, provides the visibility, but what are you doing with that data?
Hmm.
Are you making the data actionable and performing business decisions, preferably in real time, based on the data that you're receiving? Or
Right.
do you need a team of consultants to analyze that data and then make decisions for how your operations and how you structure your business going forward in the future, which could be months or even years before you realize the value of that data?
Hmm, interesting. And we're all talking about how to use that data and turn it into actionable insight. So, where does DLT Labs fit in? Like, who are you? What do you do? How do you help your customers?
Sure. Thanks for asking. DLT Labs, we've developed a platform that we can rapidly develop solutions for supply chain on. We focus on supply chain solutions. That's where we've put our focus for. Our solutions are in freight invoice processing, whether it's domestic, over the road, truckload, less than truckload, intermodal. We have a solution for small parcel as well. And crowdsourced partner deliveries for last mile delivery as well.
Hmm.
We're also doing tracking of precious minerals from mines to client and, you know, proving the location and authenticity of the location as well as quality of that
Huh.
mineral going to it. Um, it's a collaborative network
Uh-huh.
for supply chain solutions that enhances trust between parties, really, when you provide that visibility of one set of data and provide, more importantly, provide the integrity of the authenticity of that data,
Hmm.
then you start to build value and trust between your partners. No longer do you have shippers looking in one system, carriers looking in another, and questioning why do things not match.
Right.
Um, we yeah, we configure business rules on the platform in the form of smart contracts, which is a term in blockchain that is used widely. And that ensures that both the shippers and the carrier's business rules are combined
Huh.
and complied with.
Yeah. Adhered to, I was going to say.
That's it. That's it. Thank you. Um,
Awesome.
so, and we integrate with shipper systems, carrier systems, 3PLs. So you need a lot of people often and different organizations to make a successful supply chain. So when you provide that visibility to all of the parties that need access to that data or contribute to that data, then you're enhancing the value and making the processes work much more smoothly and efficiently for them.
Yeah, I had somebody come to me the other day and ask me for a platform that could help them with traceability in their supply chain. So I might have to hook you up with them later. But these are some of the things and some of the questions that people are having when they're looking at their supply chains. They're looking at it as a competitive advantage. Now, talk to me about your customers. Who are they? Are they only enterprise level? I mean, you've got some pretty big names over on your website. So talk to me about who your ideal client is.
Yeah, absolutely. We do focus on enterprise solutions and customers from our freight and DSD solutions alone, we have a network of shippers, their carriers that are providing service to those shippers, but not only the carriers. Through our DSD direct store delivery solution, we have the front end vendors or suppliers of those products that are going on shelves at stores, and they all interact with the platform. They're all either providing information into it,
Hmm.
so that that information is available between parties. They're agreeing on the information, and it's allowing them to process their shipments, supply chain processes more efficiently. At any given time, we'll have 1,000+ users on the
Wow.
platform providing that information. The majority are integrated with us through APIs, but we do have a portal that users will access for and smooth things along.
Okay.
Uh, Primarily, our focus is North America, but
Got it.
to be honest, our clients ultimately pull us where their need is. As an example, we have a client in Thailand, which we are doing the tracking of consumption of aviation fuel and the invoice processing
Wow.
for them as well. So lots of different things.
That's a big job, and there's lots of data coming in and out of your platform, especially with 1,000 people all at once. So, from invoicing and payments through to contract management and e-commerce, your platform can do a lot. As I was doing some my research before this particular episode, so let's take a closer look at DL Freight because you recently launched an upgraded system and I think it's tackling the complexity of supply chain. So, talk to us through that solution, what it does, and the benefits.
Yep, absolutely. So DL Freight is an invoice processing solution. We it's a collaborative network for freight. We integrate with the shippers, carriers, 3PLs, and receive IoT data to enhance the data, make that data actionable, and make drive business decisions based on the data. Let me give you an example. Wait times when a driver arrives at a store. It's 4 a.m., it's a bread delivery at a store, and no one is there to open up the loading docks. We know the arrival time through IoT data, departure time, and so we send notifications to that store for them to go back to the loading docks, open up the loading dock, allow that driver to unload, continue on with their route because they will be going anxious to get to their next window of delivery at their next client. And then with that data too, if there is a wait time charge warranted, we are aware of it. We can approve it on behalf of the shipper.
Huh.
So we're automating and making that data actionable to the point where the minute a driver leaves their final delivery stop destination, that invoice is not only ready to submit, but it's been approved in real time throughout as the event occurs. So does that help you with what we're doing? Some of the activity
Yeah, that
on
helps me a
deal.
lot actually. And you're eliminating some of the frustration from a driver standpoint and then also from the office standpoint as well. Cause I remember when I was in operations, I mean, it was international freight, but I remember, you can't really invoice the client until it actually hits Canadian soil. So I would be invoicing once it hits Canadian soil, but it's all manual, right? So I would have
Mhm.
to remember, oh yeah, it's hit Canadian soil. Oh yeah, it's time for me to invoice. Whereas if I had some automation happening and that milestone happens and an invoice is automatically sent out. And of course, I was doing each line manually too. So I think that would have made my job so much easier.
Without a doubt, it's all about what we try to do is automate and provide an efficient solution with very accurate data for our clients.
Right.
Um, I'll give you another example of
Sure.
our direct store delivery. It's
Mhm,
really a store receiving scheduler.
mhm.
So when you think of all of the vehicles that are arriving at a store, whether they are internal fleet or third party, directly from vendors.
Mhm.
Having that schedule, visibility to that schedule on a weekly calendar base, but then having the profile of the store. How
Right.
many loading docks does the store have? Does one
Ah,
of them always have uh, a DC trailer backed up to it collecting pallets? So
right,
really, in reality, there's only one loading dock at that
right.
store. So being able to optimize the schedule and reduce the conflicts of too many trucks arriving at the same time
Mhm.
reduces the um, wait times for the
Mhm.
drivers, allows them to continue on with their daily route. And then it just enhances the ability of those receivers to receive, knowing, to the point of a profile of the store, when can frozen be received because we don't have enough freezers to receive
Right.
X amount on a daily given day and all of that. So that's just another feature that we have added for some of our solution sets.
Well, and that ROI is not only money. I was talking to somebody the other day. The ROI isn't always cost savings. It's can be time, it can be efficiency, and that's what you're talking about is across the board. You're providing an ROI to each person in the chain for what they need to do on a day-to-day basis, which I like. Now, I also want to talk about DL Asset Track because this is a solution that supply chain organizations really are looking for. So talk to us about that. How is it different to competing platforms? And how is it solving the challenge of visibility and information sharing for organizations?
Right. So Asset Track is the platform. And then the solutions that we've developed on it, freight, e-commerce, last mile delivery, direct store delivery, track and trace, those are the solutions that we've developed on it. As we develop new solutions, they're simply modules, add-on modules for a client that will look and feel exactly the same in the same environment. It provides that collaborative network for the freight users, supply chain users, and the platform allows us to configure very rapidly
Hmm.
and integrate with clients. So we developed the base platform to be able to provide this functionality that then we develop solutions on top of.
Hmm.
Um, One example in our very first client that we released to, we were in production 61 days after the business rules were provided. We configured the business rules. How does this data process? And 61 days later, we were up in production with them processing invoices for them.
Wow.
So it's not a large ERP implementation.
Right.
Um, and then again, it's one thing to have visibility, Sarah, but really, what are you doing with that data? Are
Mhm.
you performing business rules on it? And I think that's where we stand out tremendously is we're receiving data from many multiple different systems and many different parties that have a need to be involved in that transaction, and we take that data, we make it actionable. People know the business rules of how this is being processed so that each and every transaction
Mhm.
is consistent and adheres to their business rules. Not only the shippers, but the carriers get value from that because it complies with their business rules,
Mhm.
and they know that their invoice processing is going to be much more efficient with that client.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the invoice is going out, but also knowing that it gets approved pretty quickly for payment is also something that everybody is going to like. So a lot of this is really around collaboration. Everybody knows, collaboration, or I always talk about collaboration being the future of business. And that's always the one constant of commerce, right? So globalization and technology have allowed us to do all of these incredible things. But you say that the challenge is that companies were made to work together, but systems weren't. What are your thoughts on using better technology to facilitate that collaboration for all of those people worried about, AI and advancing technology? is it actually essential? Like, can we collaborate effectively without some of these advancements?
Well, one would think so, Sarah, but quite honestly, freight audit and payment solutions haven't changed a whole lot in decades. The intent with any new technology is to improve efficiency,
Hmm.
provide value. There are numerous technologies out there providing visibility, AI analyzing the data, but you always need to determine what's the business case that we're trying to solve for,
Hmm.
and what is the value that is being brought by this technology. You know, the technologies are advancing, so integrating with those technologies, I really think that the application of multiple technologies together and the ability to bring them together and use them in a combination
Hmm.
is what will really move us forward with value ROI to clients.
Yeah. Well, and I also think that's the nature of blockchain, right? It's the exchange of information. It's bringing all parties together so that you're
Mhm.
all creating value from the information that's getting exchanged in that platform. So, I mean, they're kind of one and the same, right?
Absolutely, Sarah. Yeah.
All right. So you talked about onboarding a little bit earlier. How does a client go about working with DLT? Like, what does the partnership look like? I know that when I talk about technologies, some people are thinking in their head, how much IT resources do I need to have available to integrate this? And, this is a great thing and I want to be able to work with them, but it's probably 6 months away because I just don't have the resources to do that. So talk to us about what that looks like
We have those conversations all the time with
all the time.
pro prospective clients, and we offer a proof of concept, which we offer multiple options to it. How integrated do you want to be? We have some clients, Sarah, that we're connected to 5+
Okay.
different systems, at whether it's their TMS, ERP, Salesforce, etc.
Mhm.
You don't have to go that heavy, and in fact, you don't have to go integration at all. So, um, a POC we can recommend can be up within several weeks
Okay.
and process historical data
Mhm.
that you have. You provide the data to us, and we will process it. Now, they may even have IoT data that is available to use for that processing. We would simulate, here is how you processed on your current uh, processes or solutions, and here is how you would process on the DLT platform. So we're not a large ERP, TMS implementation. Our benefits are realized measured within weeks, not quarters and even years.
Uh-huh.
Our philosophy has always been, don't change the daily operations of shippers, carriers, brokers, 3PLs out there. They've made investments in their TMSs already or their ERPs. So when they're integrated with us, their daily operators are working in the systems they've always been used to, and they're just communicating with us back and forth behind the scenes in real time. When they make an add to their TMS, we receive that, and then we, calculate and make calculations to an invoice, perhaps, if it impacts the calculation of the invoice.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, it's simply a hub for the data to be visible and
Mhm.
trusted.
Right.
Um, Give you an example for carriers too.
Sure.
We primarily integrate with transportation carriers with their TMSs via APIs. We can do an EDI integration, but our preference is certainly APIs because of the advantage of the newer technology communication protocol. We can help those carriers with an integration, but we have had carriers simply use our documentation and integrate with us and done their testing in 2 weeks' time,
2 weeks?
with 2 weeks with their TMS. Yes,
Amazing.
we were quite honestly very impressed with that carrier.
Mhm.
So we appreciate it, and it's one person at the carrier. someone that knows a little bit about APIs
Mhm.
and knows their TMS, and they integrated with us in that 2 weeks. Some carriers choose not to integrate. It all depends on the volume that they're going to
Right.
process on the solution.
Mhm.
So we provide a portal for them, and onboarding to that portal is 48 hours or
Okay.
less, right? But they still find value in it,
Yeah.
because if you serve up a draft invoice for them that all they have to do is review, is my line haul correct? Is my fuel surcharge correct? Maybe I need to add an accessorial charge. Okay, I can do that easily with a few clicks of a button.
Yeah.
And then, is the total invoice correct to what we're expecting? It is. So I submit this invoice easy.
Click, click, and get paid. I love it.
Very
And
good.
I also like that there's several levels, right? I think one thing that you said, and I was writing it down, is meeting your client where they are from a technology standpoint. It sounds like that's what you're doing at DLT Labs, right? You've got different offerings depending on what the clients want to be able to do, but you're also meeting them where they are and just helping them to enhance what they're currently doing. Sometimes with technology, we get a little bit carried away and we're like, we need to change your whole process. And that's where everybody's like, no. And so I really like the fact that you have um focused on that. Now, one of the growing concerns is around cyber crime. I know that cybersecurity in supply chain is a huge conversation. It was in the top 3 threats to supply chain, I think, at the beginning of 2023. And I think that the transparency of blockchain sort of presents one possible way to tackle it. What are some of the other opportunities within blockchain that supply chain could really benefit from?
Right. Yep. Well, for one thing, the distributed nature of blockchain, with its data replicated across different nodes, it enhances that security, makes it harder for hackers to access the data. And then, of course, everything going across a blockchain network is encrypted, so it is a good, secure solution. Um, and then other areas, opportunities for blockchain, it's being used in healthcare for patient records, ensuring the authenticity of those. It's being used to secure IoT devices.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see more and more track and trace opportunities for blockchain. In agriculture, farm to fork applications, without a doubt,
The
we are seeing
traceability,
those now. The traceability,
right?
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then ESG compliance is a
Okay.
prime area for blockchain, tracking uh, emissions, everything like that. And, it's all, once again, Sarah, I'll go back to the integrity of the data
Mm-hmm.
is critical for these. There are, you know, companies out there that are tracking their carbon emissions, etc. But a lot of that work is very, very manual still.
Mm-hmm.
So can you receive information from different inputs and then automate the reporting of that? That's where I think we'll say things go.
Well, and I also think from a sustainability standpoint, I mean, people are hesitant to get started. They're hesitant because they don't know how to get started, but they're also hesitant at the time and money that it's going to take to be able to implement some of these ESG goals, sustainability. And so I think what you're talking about is great because we need to take out those barriers to entry, and one of those is being manual. And if you can use the technology for both internally in your business to create efficiency, but then also use it to lean on for those ESG goals and those sustainability, processes and things that you want to put into place, then I think it's going to be a lot easier for people to wrap their head around how we move those sustainability plans forward, right?
Excellent observation, Sarah. And in fact, carbon emissions tracking is a byproduct of our freight solution today. So it came along, just a, hey, it's there already. So perfect.
Awesome. So as it grows and as DLT continues to pioneer in the space, what do you think the coming year or so is going to bring for technology, maybe blockchain and its application across supply chain? I know you just talked about a few use cases, but I'm sure there's more forward-thinking things that are going to come out that we're going to see within the next year or so. Talk to us about that.
Right. We'll definitely see more and more applications, solutions taking advantage of blockchain. We've talked about enhancements with other technologies. And we'll see enhancements with those technologies, but then how do you use them together too?
Right.
Look at Chat GPT.
Yeah.
It was launched to the public November 30th of 2022, not even a year ago. And how many people are using it, right?
Mhm.
But in addition, there's at least half a dozen new, chat solutions tools out there that would be arguably better than ChatGPT. So we're going to see advances in technologies,
Mhm.
but the real challenge will be integrating them. Is there a standalone solution technology that provides that ROI, or do you integrate these technologies as we're doing, pull in information from many, many different technologies, apply those technologies to automate your business, to make business rules that you can trust, and have compliance with the way you want to run your business operationally. So I really see technologies being combined and used a lot going in the future, Sarah.
So exciting. I can't wait. Now, last but not least, what does the future hold for DLT Labs? I mean, don't spill all your secrets, but maybe give us a hint as to what you're working on.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Sarah. So extending our solutions, to process more modes. We have on our on our roadmap to do ocean and air cargo.
Okay.
Um, like I said earlier, it's our clients will pull us where their needs are. So that is an ask of us. We're launching this fall an insights solution for enhanced BI analysis for our clients.
Awesome.
Um, we'll be providing this fall as well a mobile app for the smaller carriers, owner operators, to allow them to efficiently and very easily submit an invoice and the required documentation to their brokers to process those invoices. So it's one thing when you have a trusted partner, a large, two large organizations working together, but when you start to broker out shipments and it's a owner operator that doesn't always do those normal lanes for you, then
Mhm.
there could be more requirements for them to provide the information to
Mhm.
trust it, right? So we're going to make that very easy for them.
Yeah, and I think from a supplier diversity standpoint too, like if we're looking to work with some of those small to medium sized carriers and bring those into the fold, we do have to make it easy and accessible for them to be able to participate so that we
Absolutely.
can work with, more diverse suppliers.
Yep, yep, without a doubt, Sarah. Thanks. Um, Finally, something I'm really excited about. We'll see more real-time visibility to enhance the integrity of the data that we're receiving in our platform, providing further trust to the partners that are using the solution, and just simply growth, Sarah, expanding our freight network without a doubt. So
I know
thank you.
you've been growing so much this year. Congratulations. So, supply chain is truly at the point of transformation. Disruption and chaos across the industry has solidified the importance of things like visibility, agility, and collaboration. Yet, in a lot of ways, we're struggling with the application and integration of technology to make those things really happen. But blockchain truly has the potential to facilitate digital transformation of supply chains in a safe and secure way. So it's not a part of your strategy now. If it's not a part of your strategy now, it's time to start paying attention. And you're in safe hands with DLT Labs, the global leader that is solving complex processes and pulling together expertise and innovation to make transformation happen. And did you have a guess at today's big question? Well, at the top of the show, I asked you, according to Statista, what percentage of supply chain companies are already using blockchain? Well, it's 10%. I personally think that number is a little higher than I would have guessed. So, what about you? Well, if you want to find out more about DLT Labs, check them out at their website, dltlabs.com. A massive thanks to Pete for joining me today and to the team at DLT Labs for making this episode happen. Thanks, Pete.
Thank you, Sarah. Enjoyed it.